Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I am sitting on the couch because I just got home from work and I don't want to sit on the floor. So, little different background, but that's okay. Same old Laura. So today we're going to talk about a drama situation that's been happening on Threads the past few days. And if you use Threads at all for like bookish things, you probably heard about this because it's been pretty big. So, we're going to talk about this author. She's an indie author and her name is Erin Lee. She has a novel coming out on May 25th called The Dead Aware. Now, she really got some people riled up when she posted this on Threads. I killed a dog in my book and said there's no afterlife. Then I watched a writing video that said pets can have big roles in books, so be careful. And a beta reader asked me if a dog dies and said she checks the site with a list of books to avoid. Then a dating app guy said my afterlife rule was a hard pass and dipped. Damn people, dog culture is dire. They're a great pet, but stop acting like they have little moons orbiting them. Your behavior is raising our vet bills. They're not a child. Chill. So, I think that you can probably imagine why that got some people upset because people's pets are part of their family. And the fact that she's just kind of like brushing it off like she doesn't get it is, I don't know, it's pretty strange. So the first person that commented on this says, "You're an asshole," which is funny. So here are some more of the comments that happened after, like, just directly to that. Dog culture, and it's just having empathy and caring for another living, breathing creature. Dog culture with skulls. Dog culture girl. She just put two words together and went with it. Bless her. Now we've got this person that says, "Girl, somebody had to say this. Thank you." People go wild over dogs literally attacking other humans over whether or not they buy from breeders or rescue. Personally, I couldn't care less. People are nuts. I accidentally cut it off, but the response is just like her being like, "Thank you, someone gets it." Then we got Rochelle Literary Agent, who says, "As a literary agent, I would flip out if one of my clients posted this. Good way to get yourself canceled before your first book even releases. Consider figuring out how to express your opinion without massively insulting half the population." And Stephen K. Stanford says, "Yes, and it's not cowardice to make a tiny tweak and let your dog live." And then Running Jedi says, "Even having the dog die is fine, but being pompous and denigrating about it is kind of wild. I'll never tell a writer they can't write about something, but tact is a thing too." And just as an aside, that's pretty much the opinion I have. First of all, I think that if a pet or any sort of animal dies in a book, it really should serve a purpose. It should move the plot along because, I don't know, it just like, people don't like to read that. Animals are, innocent creatures. They don't have the wherewithal to be like evil. And so I think that's why it's easier for a lot of people to stomach fictional characters, humans, being killed versus a pet, because pets are part of your family. They really are. And yeah. So yeah, I agree. You can have your dog die, but just like make it be a reason. And the way she said it does kind of feel like it was shock value. And she could have said, "A dog dies in my book." She said, "I killed a dog in my book," which just like feels like she was trying to get a rise out of people. And maybe this was rage bait, to which I say, congrats, you succeeded. So then we got some more. "So multiple people told you this was a bad idea, and your response is to make a big social media post about your awful idea? Incredible stuff. You should sell a marketing course." And someone else says, "It's okay in the end because she underestimated the power of book threads, so she's on thousands of DNR lists now. She effectively put her career as an author in the toilet." And this guy says, "Yeah, because everyone reads threads before buying a book." And this girl says, "Threads helped get books like Daddy's Little Toy," is that what it was called? Whatever. "By pen name Tori Woods, facing charges for creating and promoting child porn." And the thing about this that I just feel like needs to be said is that there are like so many indie authors out there that do all, their own promotion, own marketing, and still don't end up really selling that many books. So, yes, this woman has really made herself known on threads, but like not in a good way. So, I just don't think there's like a ton of people who are going to go to, first of all, who are going to find like her Amazon store like link to her books or whatever, find that and then be like, yeah, cool. I feel like as an indie author, you really need to be doing promotion and pushing your books out there. And so, sure, her book's out there, but nobody wants to read it. And that's not going to help her find like organic like readers cuz obviously if like she said something great and lots of people went to go buy it, then I'm sure that book would start showing up on more people's homepages on Amazon or whatever, suggested books for them. But given that she's alienated all these people and they don't want to buy her book, I think that is just like how the process kind of works. I hope that makes sense. I feel like there's like a particular word that I'm just like missing. I mean, algorithm, I guess. But I just don't think it's going to be something that is easy for her to get around. I mean, yeah, of course, people don't check threads before they buy a book, but I do think that this is going to have a large impact. And here's another one too that kind of stood out to me. Dog comment aside, how dare you throw a beta reader under the bus like this? Their question was valid. Beta readers are allowed and should be encouraged to set boundaries. Darling, you just killed your career, and not only because of the fact that you said, I killed a dog instead of a dog dies. That's what I said. Which in and of itself shows a lot of your character, but because the way you're reacting to healthy boundary setting from your beta and a rando on a dating app, your behavior speaks volumes. And yeah, like this person next said, like that's why you have these people. Because you might not think that like dogs are important or whatever the nonsense she spat out was. But don't you think you should know if your readers do? Because like even if that's not opinion you hold, if you want to sell your book, maybe you should consider tweaking that. And at the end of the day, the situation is not necessarily about her opinions on like having a dog die in a book. It's more the way she reacted to it, at least for me. Yeah, what she said pretty out there, but I don't think that I would have. I think there was still a point where she could have like backtracked and kind of like readjusted what she said, but she doubled down. She doubled down. So this went a weird direction. Raising your vet bills means what exactly? You think vets' prices are based on the amount of animals coming in? Because that's what it sounds like. You think the cost of things vets have to buy didn't go up when the cost of your stuff did? They're getting fees added onto every order since COVID too. It is insane to me that people think vets are only in it for the money. They could have just gone into human med. They went to school for just as long. And she says, I would bet money that vets are seeing that people are increasingly treating their pets like children, and some are realizing that they can make good money off of this. I feel like I've experienced this with taking my own dogs/cats to the vet for the last 10 years, as the dog trend has grown. Love your pets, but keep it in perspective. I'm sad that this woman owns pets because it doesn't sound like I'm not like accusing her of anything, but I feel like most people that have pets really do consider them to be part of the family. And I mean, sure, they're not as important as their human children, but like that's still, they're very, very, very important, and if even if something happens and, like it attacks a child and the dog needs to like be rehomed, that's still really sad, even though you love your kid. And both of these things can happen. And so that's kind of a tangent, but I don't know. It just, the blasé attitude she has about dogs and cats and I guess other animals too, probably, but yeah, it's kind of gross. So we got Airplane Champagne says, our perspective isn't the problematic one, Aaron. You love your pets so much it makes the vet charge me more money. Do you actually hear yourself? Even if that inane observation were based in reality, one, the vets would be the ones doing something wrong, so you're blaming the victim. And two, you're prioritizing your money over pets. You just couldn't be shittier right now if that were your whole life's goal. Dog trend? LOL. People have had dogs more than 10 years and have treated them as babies for longer as well. This isn't a trend or a fad. And just like human medicine, things cost money. They're not out here to make good money. Get a grip, Aaron. I think you're the one who needs perspective if you think that the economy, technology, and medicine all changing isn't contributing to veterinary care increasing. And additionally, not to get all whatever here, but I don't want children, but as a millennial, I know that there are several people, friends of mine and like acquaintances who aren't having human children because they can't afford it because of the world we were given. And so to me, that contributes to how much a lot of people, buy their dogs outfits and put them in strollers. Like, it's not a problem. Who cares? But I feel like it should be acknowledged that a lot of the reason why that happens is because people are like, oh, I'm not taking that on. Like, I got too much. Like, I'm in my 30s and I don't have a house. I don't have a job that I'm comfortable with. Like, bringing on another person into the world. And so I think that's part of it. And I think that it should be stated. All right. And another one says, advice from a fellow writer. You get to do whatever you want in your books. If the story requires a dead dog, okay. Your only job is to write the best book you can. The trade-off, readers don't owe you shit. They're allowed to have normal human preferences and aversions, and their reactions to your work are 100% out of your control. So if you've made a polarizing story choice, for God's sakes, have the dignity to stand behind it without insulting readers who decide it's not for them. And I pretty much agree with that completely. Everything Machine then says, a dog's death can be a poignant and emotional moment, or it can highlight the senseless cruelty of the world. The opinion that there is no afterlife is not uncommon, even amongst some religious or spiritual people. I myself am of this opinion. Having said that, you write like a smug preteen on Reddit. I cannot imagine making it through a whole novel of this. Yeah. I mean, the afterlife, all of that stuff, like, I don't really care about that. But it's really, saying what you want to say, I guess, and then alienating your readers and potential readers and really doubling down on your takes while alienating them even more. Someone else says, yes, this. I still remember how I sobbed in 7th grade reading Where the Red Fern Grows. I will put myself through that again for a novel that is worth it. I'm getting the feeling this author doesn't write that kind of novel. So next she starts a whole new thread that says, I said I think dogs are good pets, but they're not children, and let pets be pets. And then I said keep things simple, and suddenly I'm Satan. Social media behavior needs to be studied by sociologists. People have a frantic need to make a villain, and it's disturbing. Secondly, I write dark psychological fiction. A lot of people and a dog die in my book. It's about death. Don't read it if it's not for you. That's okay. I write honest stories. So from there, Elaine for Animals says, each one of my dogs came directly from my womb, fully formed and perfect, period. Love that response. And we have another one, Heidi down here, says, hey, sociologist here. More interested in interrogating your disrespect towards readers and other people protecting their peace by avoiding things that upset them. There's actually a whole website. I know I've mentioned it before at some point about something, but there's a website that's called didthedogdie.com. I'll double check that that's the correct name and I'll link it down below. But it's not just about like, did the dog die? There's like all kinds of lists of just content warnings for books, movies, TV shows, anything. If there's something that you're super sensitive to, definitely check that website out before you read something you might think will have a triggering effect for you. And additionally, it's all user run, I guess. So it like relies on, people submitting these things. So if you know any offhand, definitely submit them in there because that's how they kind of grow the database. Another user says, why did thousands have to comment and share and talk about how evil she is? Dog owners truly are fragile and need everyone to not say anything about it. Why scroll past and just, sure, our relationship with dogs isn't relatable to everyone. She's not evil or exceptionally unkind for being a bit irritated. But oh, how pearls were clutched. And Nicole Dawn came back and said she insulted a reader who was trying to help her, then was snarky and insulting to thousands of potential readers. Then she doubled down on it. When you are an author or a public figure and you see a post insulting people going that badly, you don't double down. People didn't like her insulting her test readers. And to me, yeah, that's a really big part of it is, why have beta readers if you don't care what they have to say? And then additionally, whoever, this guy on a dating app that told her the exact same thing, I mean, it just seems silly, and it seems like a waste of your energy and time or whatever to be sending out these, advanced copies and waiting for feedback. It just seems pointless if you aren't going to take any of that information that they give you and do anything with it. Except for go on threads and make everybody upset. So then another post she made, and this one isn't even, like, there's nothing wrong with what she's saying here, but she's drawn so much attention to herself that it's just, anything she posts now, people are gonna be on her comments trying to get a point across to her. When I was 11, I won a writing contest held by my elementary school and got to go to a writing conference with the winners from other schools. There were authors in attendance, and one actually took us seriously and talked to us about the business of being an author. I don't remember a thing he said, just that he treated us with respect and talked to us like adults. H.D. Carlton author says, Aaron, please, for the love of dogs, put away your internet. And down here, Chelsea writes books says, listen, it's not the dog dying people are mad about. She's not getting that. Like, everyone's saying that, and it's just not getting through to her. It's you being a dick about it and tripling down with your holier-than-thou attitude in your posts. That is the issue. You're coming off extremely judgmental in all the comments. This one I loved. I'm genuinely hoping you see what the masses are trying to say, because if you just sit with it for a minute, it is a similar parallel to this story. You didn't treat a reader, and a subset of potential readers, with respect and talk to them with condescension. Therefore, they will not remember anything about your book / give your books a chance. Aaron says, if you want to read my books, great. If not, I understand they aren't for everybody. I write honest, dark, psychological fiction. She keeps saying honest. I don't know what that means. A dog dying in a book is tame. That's what I was getting attacked for first. Now people are trying to pivot and say I'm being condescending. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have opinions. And I don't know if anyone paid attention to the, how long, when it was posted, but this has been going on for 4 days. And so, this is kind of the last thing that she's posted about this. This is the last time I'll say this. I have a dark psychological novel called The Dead Aware that's coming out 5/25/25. People are bullying and threatening me, downvoting my book, and saying my writing career is over because a dog is killed in the book and because I said pets aren't children and pet owners need to chill. Yes, that is what's happening. I have trouble wrapping my head around how stupid this is. If you don't like my opinions or a dog getting hit by a car in a book about death, then don't read my book. Also, I just want to go back a second. If she initially had said a dog gets hit by a car and dies in my book and yada yada and then continued on, I don't think this conversation would be happening in this way. Sure, people might be like, why did you have to do that? Whatever. Because of the stuff that she said afterwards and how, pretty insensitive and just, kind of rude. The things she said about pet owners. But I think the wording of I killed a dog in my book just really put a lot of people off. And, to me, reading that, just first sentence, I saw this and I was like, the hell? So, I don't know. That's my take on it. Your behavior isn't only childish, but downright disgusting. I'm a real person. This is my real livelihood. I know you think it's some fun online entertainment and you can pretend you're in middle school, but it's not a joke. And if you think I'll forget you acted this way, I won't. I've been very kind and supportive to authors and the writing community on here, and in return, I've seen some participate in attacking me. You don't seem like an animal activist. I'm not 100% sure. This looked like it was a brand new post, but I guess she's replying to someone. Anyways. You don't seem like an animal activist. You seem like a person who wants to watch someone fail. It's sick. I haven't done anything wrong and I have nothing to apologize for. If you want to talk nicely, I'm happy to talk to you, but I won't respond to hate and I won't ever stop writing. I think the world is starving for honest, irreverent novels. I know I am. One of my favorite things about life is forgetting my troubles and getting lost in a good story, and as a writer, that's what I try to do. And then Enchanted Brittany says, I don't know how many comments have told you what the problem they have with you is. We do not care about a dead dog. The way you are disrespecting so many people for absolutely no reason is the entire issue. Attacking beta readers and some guy you met on a dating site, calling people idiots in comments. You are the problem, not that a dog dies in your book. You have been told this thousands of times, literally thousands, and yet you are still fighting back. Just stop. You have dug yourself so far into a hole now. And just to, wrap this all up, she posted this earlier today. I'm publishing my dark psychological novel on the afterlife in 13 days, so I wanted to share a paranormal experience I've had, and I would love it if you would share yours in the comments or as a video. Someone comments to this and says, a book you've published before? The one that failed and you berated a beta reader for? And then has a post, as a screenshot of her TikTok where she was promoting this book, where you can get it, and this was posted on June 10th, 2024. So it's kind of weird that she's acting like this is a brand new thing when it was clearly not, and like the evidence is there. So a user said, ah ha ha ha, you came with receipts, knew I made the right decision to follow you. And then we got someone else that says, I went to that website and got this, LMAO. Like, I guess she maybe took it off of Amazon. And then this is probably my favorite comment. Paranormal culture has gone too far. These so-called ghosts don't have moons orbiting them. Probably to blame for rising vet bills as well. So yeah, that's kind of where it all ends. This was just a really interesting kind of take to have and then to really lean into. I personally don't think it's the greatest of choices, but we all make them, and I guess now she's just gonna have to kind of see the consequences of this. Yeah, and I mean, it's a bummer because I feel like she was given a lot of opportunity to kind of backtrack, like I said, and say like, you know what, I'm sorry, that didn't come out right. But like, she really meant it. So that's where we stand. She definitely made her opinion heard, and so did a lot of other people. So I want to know what you think of all of this in the comments, and if you know, you think that people were coming after her way too hard, if you think dog people are crazy, and mostly, do you think that authors should even bother having beta readers if they're not going to listen to their feedback? I just want to put this out there real quick. I do understand getting feedback from beta readers and then deciding, you know, you don't want to take their advice. It's a little weird when you're getting it from multiple people and still not even considering taking their advice. But coming on the internet and like blasting that person, I mean, anyone saying that they're like bullying her, I really do feel like she kind of brought this upon herself. Sorry, my cat just jumped up and nudged the camera. But yeah, I mean, I think there are some people that were kind of like getting to be too much, but I think all of the ones that I pretty much screenshotted to show are reasonable. So yeah, let me know all your thoughts. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like this, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!